Yo guys. It is Old Man G here, back again with another late show. Apologies for a bit of a delay. So just a little bit busy. But the breaking news has come out. I want to obviously react to the latest news regarding Gyökeres. I don't really do these shows until I get some updates from, I think, the journalists that I can trust. That being Fabrizio, obviously Ornstein, Jacob, all the rest of it. So we obviously had a substantial update from Fabrizio today. But before we get into it, guys, remember, if you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, Red Devil Studio X, etc., etc. Smash that like button, notification button. It helps a long way. Yeah, guys. I'm gonna start with this. This information doesn't surprise me. I think that there was a lot of. I'm gonna say this. There was a lot of people that were fanboying, fangirling over Gyökeres over the last couple of days, and it was actually getting. It was slightly annoying me to one second, because it was almost like this deal was a do or die, and you never really got anything direct from the player to say that he definitely wanted to come to Manchester United. Only that, at least according to Ben Jacobs, that UCL football wasn't going to be a deciding factor. Now I'll come to that a bit later. Big up Atonement in the chat. Big up, big up, big up. So it is very interesting today that we get an update from Fabrizio Romano, as you can see. And Fabrizio has said that Viktor Gyökeres, and this was posted a few hours ago, but says Viktor Gyökeres' priority was to join Arsenal this summer, despite calls from Manchester United in recent weeks. Gyökeres always an option amid Šeško talks, with no deal sealed so far. Arsenal keep assessing situation. United remain keen, but believe deal now unlikely. And potentially, this might also be one of the reasons why there's been a stalling. And I mean, Mustafa says it. What do we? No, I don't think we can get Mbeumo. Well, we can still get. That's a separate deal. But I think it's interesting just how I think maybe that might be why the Mbeumo deal, they're thinking about it in an arm, because if they want to get Gyökeres and they want to spend more to get Gyökeres, maybe they have to sort of, that's what they're trying to negotiate on Mbeumo. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting because, to be honest, you know, as I was kind of saying on my last show, a lot of stuff coming from Record Portugal and other websites or sources seems to be more the agent trying to basically get a move for this guy. You know, all this talk, all this stuff, a lot of it was just, you know, agents. Honestly, I'm gonna just say, oh well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But a lot, let's be real, a lot of the talk around this guy was hype. It was the agent. It was a lot of it, even the stuff leaking out and stuff. I was already starting to think, okay, this is getting a bit too much now, you know. So there's clearly some stuff going on. And also in the back of my mind, I always did think, does Gyökeres really what United don't have UCL football? I know for a fact, if United had UCL football, he comes to United. He comes to United. But I always found it weird with a player of his level at his age at 27 to think, you know what, I would rather play non-UCL football to help a struggling United side for a year to be back with Amram than play in the UCL like I was with Sporting and potentially, you know, with high money and a potential chance to win it with Arsenal. That was always weird to me. Now, the only thing I can think of is that there wasn't really a connection with Arsenal, because, like you can see here, although Arsenal are an option, you know, it seems that Arsenal are more advanced in talks with Šeško than they are with Gyökeres. And I think that if Arsenal sign Šeško, they're probably not going to sign Gyökeres, especially at Sporting Lisbon's valuation of about 60 million plus 10 plus add-ons. I just don't think Arsenal will do that. Not with the players that they have already. I just don't. Possibly, you know, Liverpool maybe, but they've not made any noise, Liverpool, really. So we're in a situation right now where, you know, where Arsenal are, you know, Gyökeres, at least according to Fabrizio, wants Arsenal, and United in a situation where, you know, do they they believe the deal is unlikely. Do they wait and see, or do they go on other striking options? Let's just quickly look at some comments, guys. Who do we get now? I don't think we get Mbeumo now. No, we could still get Mbeumo, but it's Osimhen, isn't it? For me, it's Osimhen. I know the Eteke guy, there's been rumors, but I don't want to pay 100 million for another development striker from, I think he's the Bundesliga, I think. So no, for me, no more expensive sign. If we're going to spend big money, then get Osimhen. Osimhen at least people can be like, okay, the dude is proven. And to be honest, for me, I think that Osimhen is actually a better finisher than Gyökeres. I mean, my Nigerian bias is there, but I think he's a better finisher, and I think his physicality will be better for the Premier League than Gyökeres will be. Personally, for me, that's what I think. Højlund again, definitely not. And obviously, as Merton said, artist dream, another dream has just increased. I do rate Osimhen. I take Eteke, he'll be expensive though. Watkins, he'll be expensive. Mateta, otherwise, are you ready for Højlund again? No, I mean, Osimhen for me, because Eteke is going to be expensive. Mateta in Palace is going to be expensive because Palace are not going to sell. The way I think about it is Osimhen is available for 60 million. The issue is his wages. If we can negotiate with his wages, you go get him. All those other players are going to be expensive. I'm not sure about Watkins, but definitely Mateta and Eteke. You're not going to get them for any less than 70 million. And we need to reinforce other areas as well. And I suspect this is also why Manchester United are thinking, well, if Gyökeres isn't it, what budget do we have? Can we really go for Mbeumo? If we go for Mbeumo, we need to really push the sales first. What I would say in Manchester United's defense is that, like I said, Arsenal have not really, all the stuff about Spurs and Mbeumo, stuff like that, there's not been really been anything concrete. Is Daniel Levy really going to give 70 million pounds to Mbeumo Spurs right away? No. And Spurs have not been in direct talks with Mbeumo, though, that there's been murmurings about that, I think. So we'll see. But the question I think with this is that if the player, because the difference is, and Mbeumo has said he wants to United. I think that what's thrown off a lot of United fans is that according to Ben Jacobs and a few other people, the word was, Viktor Gyökeres is happy to come to without UCL football next season, implying that he'd have no problem coming to United. But remember, he never actually said explicitly, I want to go to Manchester United like Mbeumo did, or like we've seen Mbeumo did. So to see this, I think is like, okay, this for me, in my opinion, makes a lot more logical sense. And I'm going to go to Ben Jacobs' tweet in a second, see what he says. Because for me, I would argue there is conflicting information from Ben Jacobs and Fabrizio here. Fabrizio has basically said it's unlikely. It's game. Not unlikely doesn't mean impossible, and anything can happen. But what it does mean is that realistically speaking, realistically speaking, if Gyökeres has a choice between Arsenal and United, he's going to choose Arsenal. Arsenal coming. And I think that this whole issue with his agents and all the news and the Riftmall and the buying price, etc., is because he wants to lower his price so that Arsenal can come and bid for him. In other words, he sees, the reason why Arsenal are going for Šeško might be more affordable, more wages, etc. And I think that Gyökeres' agent has realized this, wants to get a move and saying, no, Sporting, you have to lower your price. That's basically what's happened here. And looking at the polls so far, not that many votes, but so far, most of you still think that United should move on from Gyökeres. So there you go. Also getting both Šeško. I don't think they'll get both. I think the saga. Well, we don't have that. We don't have that time. We don't have that time. For me, we don't have that time. We don't have that time. You move on. We don't have that time. Osimhen is about wages. How much is it? I mean, it's sounding like it might be close to 400k. Obviously, you don't want to play him 400k because it'll destroy our wage structure. But I'm of the opinion now that you're going to have to be looking at 300 to 350 for this guy, because our options are not looking good. If for experienced strikers now, and obviously that was the case because of what this club did regarding the losing the final. This is all whatever people say, and I was trying to tell people this for everyone to temper their expectations, because it was weird. You were seeing, United, they're back, all this kind of sort of stuff. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, but hang on a minute, we've not signed these players yet. United have always been linked to FC. We're linked with this player, There's talk, because agents need that. We've not signed Mbeumo yet. We've not signed Gyökeres yet. We've not signed anybody. Let's just wait. Let's just wait and see. Okay, let's wait and see what happens. And before you know it, the Mbeumo deal we submitted the bid, it's been rejected. We're now waiting for another one. I thought it'd come soon, it hasn't. And Gyökeres wants Arsenal. So there you go. Emi Martinez, we made contact with South America. Well, for me, that's fine, but goalkeeper's not a priority. Goalkeeper's not a priority. And for me, Emi Martinez, okay, maybe it's better than Onana, maybe, but he's not like it's not like it's a massive improvement in my personal opinion. He makes his mistakes as well, and he's going to be more in the spotlight as well. So there you go. Although he's a World Cup winner, I guess. Now, Lucky Singh, Reddell, please tell Brentford drop the price. No, they're probably not going to, man. Not going to. Did you use? Did you see? I've not seen the Kun interview. I've not seen the Kun interview, and to be honest, I'm not that interested because the season hasn't started yet. The season hasn't started yet. When the season starts, and all this sort of, oh yeah, I'm the best. I'm this. Yeah, let's wait and see first. Let's wait and see first. Big up. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Bottom right corner links, obviously in the description, please. It goes a long way. So let me quickly share the Ben Jacobs post, because let's see in comparison to what. So you can see obviously what Fabrizio said. So let's actually see what Ben Eze would be a bad shot, but Eze is not a striker. Lucky. Let's see what Ben Jacobs is saying. So share this tab here. So Viktor Gyökeres prefers a move to the Premier League, okay, and would welcome an Arsenal bid, as at record Portugal reported. Right, okay. These guys are pushing their agent, so okay, fine. So would welcome Arsenal bid, as record Portugal reported. Okay, so he prefers move to the Premier League and would welcome a bid to Arsenal. But okay. Arsenal still deciding between Benjamin Šeško and Gyökeres. Andrea Berta simultaneously advancing both deals. That's the Arsenal sporting, I'd imagine. Although Šeško seems to be more advanced. Now, Ben Jacobs is saying Gyökeres would be open to Manchester United. There's been no formal rejection, but a deal today has also never been at an advanced stage despite suggestions. United have not made any formal approach to Sporting. Swedish striker, one of several striking options discussed for Man UFC. Gyökeres believes he'll still be allowed to leave Sporting for 70 million. Arsenal have always been one to watch, but it will depend on Burton now, because he is also in ongoing talks with Šeško at the same time, with a bid for one of the two targets expected soon. Gyökeres is going to give priority to league clubs despite having firm interest, Saudi interest, and a growing number of European suitors. So that is interesting. That is very interesting. And this is why I put the poll in, because if we go by what Ben Jacobs is saying, he's saying that, Gyökeres would be open to Manchester United. Okay, if United come in with a bid, presumably, I would presume if United come in, they speak to Sporting and they give a bid of 70 million, and if Gyökeres would according to Ben Gyökeres, be open to coming to United. You know? So if we combine the two, it seems that Gyökeres' priority or his first choice, as I said earlier in before the season, was that he wants to go to Arsenal. He wants to go to a Champions League club, and that is Arsenal. Okay, maybe Mbeumo thinks that now that what's his name? Frank is at Spurs. That might change things. And this is important because we're in a situation right now, where United's two most hyped deals that people have been speaking, making content on over the last 2 weeks or so, could basically disappear overnight and go to London clubs who are in the CL. And Mbeumo, not because he doesn't like United, because his old manager is at Spurs, and maybe there's something there. And if Spurs bid quicker, he might be turned. And Gyökeres, because Arsenal are decided between Šeško. Arsenal basically, the way I think of it is, Arsenal basically are going to be getting either Šeško or Gyökeres, and they could pick, it seems. Meanwhile, Manchester United have to deal with the scraps, effectively. So I know people got gassed. I know people got happy with this, but at the end of the day, as I kept on saying, they're not wearing the shirt. They're not wearing the shirt. And I don't think people really, really appreciate the fact that our terrible league position and non-Champions League football has really scampered us. I know there was United got pull, but we really don't. And we don't have the money to spend. We've not made any sales. If we do go for Mbeumo and get that out the line somehow, we need to sell players, and we haven't sold any yet. Obviously, the transfer window is closed currently right now, so it's not like anyone can buy anything. So just bear that in mind. The reason why there aren't any deals right now is the transfer window has closed a bit because of the Club World Cup. So just bear that in mind. And maybe we might get some action after the Club World Cup. We might see something different. But I don't know, guys. I really, really, really don't know. Really, really don't know. I think that we're in a situation right now where, United could easily lose two key signings right now. And we do keep on saying, and Ben Gyökeres has said, that there are other striker options. So United do have striker options. My worry, and my personal opinion, is that I don't want those striker options to be alternatives. Sorry, not alternatives. I mean potential alternatives. And so by that I mean, Ateke, for example, looks good, but for me, he still comes into the potential category again. And I think United need an experienced striker, someone who's been a striker for a while. The score clutch goals, has done things, has done it in multiple leagues. Maybe that's what United need right now. MX says, I thought we wanted a ball playing goalkeeper. So why is I want to becoming welcome? Yeah, well, I don't know what goalkeeper. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. I don't know what goalkeeper Amram wants. Does he want a ball playing goalkeeper, or does he want someone who's a shot stopper? Honestly, I've got no idea. And like I said, I personally, for me, think it's not a priority. And as I've been saying, if the situation is such that we're now having to we can't bid for a striker because we're thinking about goalkeepers, different things, then that becomes a problem to me. That becomes a really, really big problem. Big up SSB, hope you're doing well. Osaji says, I'm tired of this club Manchester United. Why haven't they signed Brian and Bremen by now? What is it? Okay, well, I mean, what I was saying in defense of the club is that, like I said, the transfer window has closed because of the Club World Cup. For those who don't know, the Club World Cup is starting tomorrow. So because of that, the transfer window, because of FIFA, is closed. So no one can sign any player until, I think, essentially the Club World Cup is over. I mean, let me just have a quick look. Transfer window open. Yeah. So the 20th summer transfer window will open again on Monday, June the 6th. Oh, right. Oh, so open again. Okay. So I thought it was when the Club World Cup was over. So the Premier League transfer will open early between June the 1st and June the 10th. Due to exceptional registration period for the club, it will then open again. So basically, it was open from June to June, then it was closed, as it's closed right now currently, and then it's going to open again on Monday. So the transfer from June to 16th until deadline day on September the 1st. So that is when it will open again. So it'll be back open again on Monday. So so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Glazes out. Glad we're talking to Jessica. I don't really rate Justin Kluivert, to be honest. I'll be honest with you, Lucky. I don't know. I just hopefully, if I'm a hopeful person, I want us to secure Mbeumo first. Because for me, he's Premier League proven. I'm actually more worried about the Mbeumo than the Gyökeres deal because with Gyökeres, there are other strikers available out there that we can pursue. With Mbeumo, it's like this guy got, I think, what was it, 25 GA in the Premier League last season. He's Premier League proven. He was the 4th top highest goal scorer below Salah, Isak, and Haaland. So you need that type of player, that can help us, so it's like we're already getting a player who already has scored 20 plus individual goals for his club. So we don't know in theory whether, and usually Premier League strikers that go to Premier League clubs don't tend to, I mean, I could be wrong, but usually when another Premier League striker goes to another Premier League club, they don't tend to flop because they're familiar with the Premier League, they're familiar with the team. So they might not score as many goals, but they will score goals. People say Lukaku was a flop at United. He wasn't a flop at United. Lukaku's still got in one of the seasons 20 plus GA in all competitions. To me, that's not a flop. That's what I expect from my striker. At least 20 plus GA in all competitions is what I expect from my number 9. Ideally more, but that's what I expect. And Lukaku got that in, I think, both of his seasons for Manchester United. So I'm more concerned about that deal flopping and United not securing that than I am about Gyökeres. Because if we don't get Gyökeres, okay, cool, fine. And at the end of the day, for me, if I'm United, if I'm Manchester United and you're getting messed up by Gyökeres and sort of all these sort of things, you go, okay, fine. You go and you move on. That's the key. You go. Gyökeres is prized the Premier League, but he might end up being in Serie A. So because the way I see it, I suspect Arsenal get Šeško, and personally for me, I don't even think Gyökeres even suits Arsenal's system. With the way that Arsenal play, I generally don't think that Gyökeres actually suits Arsenal's system. I think it will be problematic, and maybe that's why the head of the department is thinking, let's see what happens. But I don't know. United Jack, big up, buddy, says at Devil's Info says Etike it looks too expensive. I mean, I that's what I said that when I saw the price for Etike, I was like, no, not for potential, not for potential. Etike is far too expensive. Mateta definitely remains an option, but I have a feeling that Palace will charge a lot. Like I don't know why we don't in for Jonathan David. Personally, I think that Jonathan David would be a steal for free. I don't know how much his wages would be, but he would be a steal. But I don't know. Mateta is possible, but I just think that Palace. I mean, in fact, I'll have a quick look and see what is if Mateta has a release clause, or how much is because knowing Palace, remember how much we had to pay for Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Palace, you know? So Crystal Palace aren't gonna let him go cheap. Yeah, according to, I mean, so this is from March this year. According to the Mirror, United have been told to pay 40 million for Mateta, which is half the 80 million release clause of Gyökeres, who remains a top target. Okay, so Mateta's release clause is 40 million pounds or 52 million. Okay, that seems to be what they're saying. It's a 54 million. Oh, well, someone is saying it has a 54 million release clause, or is it 50? I don't know which one it is. Is it $54 million? 54 million? I don't know. Let's just assume we're paying 50 million for the guy. Yeah, if that's the case, I think, you know what? You know what? 50 million Mateta. You know what? Yeah, sure. Where we beggars can't be choosers. We don't have a choice. Let me check. You said check the Devils info. Okay, let's have just a quick look. There are a lot of people posting a lot of stuff right now. Hopefully, because right, Devils info. Let's see what they're saying. Are they reliable? Just a good story. I'm sure I assume they are, but yeah. So they pinned a comment saying when comment they secure Brian and Buemo linked to the wider the mark with a lot of exaggeration. Own requires. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I don't think there's any from the posts I've read. I don't think there's any indication right now that top Spurs are bidding for Buemo or have held talks. So I think obviously Thomas Frank would like him, but so far from what everyone said, there might be an interest, but there's no held talks or anything. So United are definitely ahead in the Mbeumo situation, just purely because they've held talks. The player wants them. They put a bid. They're putting second bid. So I think they're definitely ahead in that respect of Spurs, who've not really even had a conversation. And he says Fabrizio given that Virgil has not rejected Manchester United. He says Man U will not reject it, but instead the player gives. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just looking through the thing. Where's his point about Mateta? I can't see. Maybe it's somewhere. Oh yeah. Mateta remain. Manchester United remain informed and interested in Jan-Philippe Mateta's situation. Mateta has entered final 12 months. Okay, that is interesting. I've maybe followed these guys. Okay. Mateta has entered into his final almost as Chris Paul's contract. Palace set to enter talks with for a new contract. Chris Paul set to win price at 50 million. Yeah, so I mean, what I would say is that this is where now United can negotiate, because if he's going into his final 12 months, if the player generally wants to leave and go to United and force a move, we could be in a situation here where we could potentially go for Mateta and still have more money for if we get sales for another striker. So you'll make a situation where Mateta could be a squad player, and then you could still go for Gyökeres, you could still go for Rushman. You've got a squad player Mateta. You say, listen, not 50, we'll pay 40 million for Mateta. He's in his final year of his contract. He wants to come to us. Let's go. So yeah, I certainly think that's an interesting one to watch on. So thanks for that. If that is the case, Mateta is a good squad player, but not. Yeah, like I said, I mean, desperate times, because if United can't get the starters, here we are. However, like I said, I think 40 million. If we were to negotiate down for 40 million for Mateta, that still leaves with us a lot of wiggle room and also you can make the case that if we can't get a top striker in now, at least get a semi-decent one, and reinforce other areas of the field. In other words, make this. I think we should. I still think it's a risk, but if you can get Mbeumo, Cunier, and Mateta, there's at least goals there. And then you can now say, right, we're going to get a better midfielder, we're going to get better wing backs, we're going to get a better goalkeeper, and at least the team has improved, enough to at least think that they can at least compete for European football, hopefully. I think Devlin said Paris have mental. Yeah, Twitter asking which may come down. Exactly, especially if he forces a move. A lot of bots on the Kick who are watching on Kick. I don't understand, but okay. Fabrizio video says management haven't been outright told no from Gyökeres. More they can tell he wants Arsenal to move more right now. Well, yeah, of course. Okay, that makes sense. But this is the thing, United. This is kind of what I said. This is what I've always said. The player never outright said he wants to join Manchester United, and I thought it bizarre, quite frankly, that he wanted to go to a club that had no UCL football and that was struggling. But clearly he wants to leave Sporting. So if United, like has pretty much been said from the beginning, like I've been saying from the beginning, of course, if Manchester United give a 70 million bid right there and then to Sporting Lisbon, I suspect Gyökeres will agree. Okay, especially if Arsenal aren't going to end up pursuing Šeško or aren't going to have any more interest. Absolutely, 100%. However, if the power right now is in Arsenal's hands, that's what's sad. As a United fan, the whole thing is it's up to Arsenal. So if Arsenal decide and say, right, okay, we're gonna get Gyökeres, United have got no chance. If they say we are, then you then have a situation where it's like, okay, well, as I put in the poll, he's said what his preference is. Do you still now go for him because you were basically seen as his side chick? In the poll for the people who voted, 84% of you say that we should move on from Gyökeres, with 60% saying no. I'm going to change the poll now, and then say, what striker should United get? So what striker should United get now, assuming that there is no Gyökeres? So obviously, Osimhen's going to be there. Mateta is going to be there, and Etike is going to be there. And I'll put Jonathan David there, even though we're not linked, but I don't really understand why we're not, but I'll put him there anyway. And there, put the poll there. I want you to tell the truth now. Palace have triggered the option. His option? Oh, they've triggered his option to extend. Okay, fine. So it's 2020. It's now 2027. Okay, yeah, that's a bit annoying. Which means that it will definitely be 50 million still, unless Mateta really pushes it. It will be, but it is what it is. Quick, Kryto Sink says, Oshrin has always been my preferred choice, as he has been mine personally. But I honestly don't see us getting him either. I think we could see another Gala, Weghorst, Cavani type loan free signing. It's funny because it's true. It's funny. It's actually funny because it's true. I really, and by the way, for those watching, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. We've got 20 plus people watching. Let's at least get to 20 likes on the video, guys. Please, it would help a lot with the channel. We're still running onto trying to get to 5K subscribers. So please, help a brother out. That's all I'm saying. Help a brother out. But yeah, we'll see. We'll obviously see. Like I said, I'm a bit more confident with Mbeumo, and that does give me some confidence, given his goals. But United need a striker. You know, I mean, we can't go into next season with Højlund as number 9. I'd actually rather we start Cheeto. If we can't get a striker, if we can't get a simple striker at all, I'll be honest, I'd rather we start, for me, Cheeto, Xerxes, and Højlund. Start Cheeto. Give him some time in the preseason to build up, do his thing. Start Cheeto and lead the line. For me, I would, if we can't get a striker, we have to, but if we can't start with Højlund to get number 9. It cannot happen. For me, he goes out on loan to a Serie A club, build his confidence back up, and then take things from there. But we can't start Højlund again. We just can't. I just don't know how willing Manchester are, and I suspect, like I said, it's going to come to how well we can get rid of the established players we have now. Yeah, judging points until we can do that. It says later in the post they actually trigger the interest and will offer a deal. Yes, so Palace, I think, I want to offer a deal. Yeah, definitely. I think United. I think people noticed Gyökeres noise to United heat up. It got overhyped. It got overhyped. I was seeing Gyökeres this and Gyökeres that, and so much Gyökeres sort of stuff like that. That from a person who never actually said specifically that he wanted to join that Manchester was his first choice. You know. But you know, I just think that at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, there was a lot of hype about this Gyökeres thing from basically the last 2 weeks, which was, if you want to summarize the news in the last 2 weeks, it was basically Gyökeres would be keen to go to the Premier League and doesn't mind if the team he goes to doesn't have UCL football. Point 1. Point 2, Gyökeres has a Sporting basically wants 70 million for Gyökeres, and they won't let him go for at least 70 million euro pound sterling. Point 3, agents unhappy with that. That's it. In the last 2-3 weeks, that's basically it. There's no from that. So all the kind of, and United fans do this a lot, all the hype around it. I mean, at least with Bremo, there was a bid. There was a bid that was rejected, and it wasn't, and it was a bid that was close to Brentford's asking price, we think. Gyökeres, you know, there's like, okay, we're interested. Okay, we'll see. Okay, maybe United's away, maybe we're not. But at the end of the day, United have not submitted a formal bid. And I suspect that's because they believe that the player wants Arsenal's his preference. So we're essentially waiting for Arsenal. I think it seems that we're just basically waiting for Arsenal to make a decision. That seems to be. I could be wrong, but you know, this seems to be the thing. Oh, big up on David Beckham getting a knighthood, I guess. So, but he's one of United's most talented players. So there you go. Just seeing if there's any other updates. But I still think that it was good to see at least Fabrizio clarify that. Because I'll be honest, I think, you know, big up Ben Jacobs, and I obviously cover sort of stuff, but I do think that he overdid the Gyökeres news a lot. It seems to be update every other day of stuff that really was just like but nothing really progressed. And this is a lot more definitive. You know, at the end of the day, Gyökeres' preference is Arsenal, but he wouldn't mind United. So when I hear that, I think, right, okay, United have 2 options. We go and pursue our secondary striker targets, or we need to sell to make the money. And I suspect the reason why United are in a rock and a hard place is because Amorim probably wants Gyökeres. let's keep it stacked. I think the reason why United, I think if this was any other manager, they would probably be like, okay, yeah, whatever, we'll move on and go for Oshman or whoever. But because Amrin probably wants Gyökeres, and because Amrin probably was promised, I suspect Amrin was actually promised Gyökeres to come. It's one of those where you're like, right, okay, so basically we're at the mercy of Arsenal and hope that Arsenal go for Šeško instead. It is what it is. I never got my hopes with Gyökeres. Was I a little more optimistic? Yes. Was I ever confident? No. UEL final lost cost of money. Exactly. I'm unsure. We go for Oshman, Gala, and Adela want him badly. Chelsea, Juventus, Isman, and a few others inquire. Yeah, it's certainly more of a tight race, definitely. Although I'm not sure about Chelsea, but yeah, Osimhen would even be harder. I guess the only thing with Osimhen is that I would imagine. Oh, I say that. Would Osimhen rather go to United or Gala? I don't know. I honestly don't know. He's not. But he's already said out. He's already said he's not going to Al Hilal. So I'm not worried about Saudi. But I don't know. Guys, I don't know. I don't know. I think people need to appreciate that Europa League final loss. It caused us massive problems, guys. It really did. I just think the United pull is overrated at this point. And so I have the feeling it's a 50-minute aspirate to scare clubs and try to pass. So I think, okay, yeah. I don't disagree. I don't think Etike is the one. People saying he got the 9.5 Xerxes star and he has a little bit of concern. Yeah, I mean, for me, again, if we were in a Liverpool's position or City's position, then yeah, go and get him for 50 mil and see. And if he's a talent, he works. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Liverpool and City, and to a certain Arsenal, certainly will sit in positions because the squads are strong enough and they've got silverware that they can basically spend money, getting works for 100-something million, doing all these potential or potentially world-class players. They can do that. They can risk it. Liverpool spent 80 million on Darwin Núñez and he's going. They can risk it. They can do that. United can't. We can't afford to make financial blunders anymore, like we did with Anthony, like we did with Sancho. We can't afford to do that. United, if Gyökeres is really on, Marteta for me. Okay, fair enough. If we can't save Rashford, I would generally rather him back at 9 with Kuna. I mean, that's a fair point. It's a fair point. I mean, I still don't think Rashford is a number 9, but there is an argument to make that he's a better number 9 than Højlund. There is a case. I said I wouldn't mind Cheeto there, but there's a case there. There is a case. There's a case. I saw a report that Garnacho's reps are giving really high terms to foreign clubs like Napoli and then lower and flexible demands to Piolko. Yeah, because he wants to stay in the Premier League. He wants to stay in the Premier League. I personally think that I personally think that I don't mind. I need to sort of box in the chat. I personally think that he, my honest opinion is that he's going to go to Chelsea. Like, I don't think Arsenal, Liverpool, City are going to be going. So he's not going to go to an Arsenal, to a Liverpool. I don't know. I don't think maybe Newcastle could maybe tweak potentially, maybe Villa potentially, but certainly not to an Arsenal, Liverpool, or I mean, could Arsenal? Nah, not Arsenal, not Liverpool, not City. So Newcastle and Villa could sniff a little bit, but really, for me, the big thing is Chelsea, because Chelsea, it literally fits their profile of player. Like, he's less than 25, he's got potential, he's got Premier experience, and if you get him for a reasonable fee, 60 million or whatever, he can potentially turn into a into a place that can give you like a lot of profit. So it's the perfect show. So, and Chelsea have had interest in Garnacho as well. So Chelsea, for me, it probably will end up being Chelsea. But if we're going to sell them to Chelsea, which I really don't want to, because I'm tired of selling players to permanent rival clubs or giving them to success. Like we gave them Sancho, for example, and that helped them with things. For me, if you're going to sell them to a Premier rival, which you shouldn't, but if you have no choice, you put in a sell-on clause, a substantial sell-on clause, at least. There was no doubt when United missed out on Delap, they pivoted and acquired to Gyökeres and had some encouragement, but I think it was more low-key than media people. Yeah, I agree. Delap was supposed to be the signing, and then maybe you add in, if you can get Gyökeres in, but at least if you sign Delap, you can then go and go targets. But again, he made it clear that I think a lot of people were waiting on that Europa League final. Delap was, Gyökeres were, and United lost it, and it has implications. This is really it's as simple as that, really. Lucky United don't want him. Can get to Premier League players for 40 million. Yakido says, let him get out. I love you. United, Oshun wants 200 million per year, and Napoli wants 75 million euros up front. Jeez, that's a lot. I don't think he's going to go in if that's the case. Cryo Singh says, new subscriber to the channel. Oh, yes, big up. Thank you for subscribing, man. Really appreciate it. Shout out to you, buddy. So always welcome new subscribers. So thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. We are trying to grow slowly but surely. So thanking you. But new subscribe to the channel. A little off topic, but what's your opinion on Aram so far? I'm worried about his stubbornness, if I'm honest. Yeah. I'll give you my brief opinion because I am going to be doing when we do the preview and stuff and for the season with a few United fans to give you a bit of idea. But in answer to your question, Crypto, I am worried. And I've always not been a fan of managers who need to buy players to get basically managers that can't adapt. What we saw, the reason why Ange beat Amorim is because Ange adapted, Amorim didn't. Ange changed the way he played probably from the last game of the quarterfinal, I think. So all this high press, stuff, nonsense and stuff like that. The players couldn't keep fit. He was like, nah, just get defensive, really compact, okay, get a goal and then basically just defend and see the game out. Don't bother wasting energy because my players could get injured. Just hold on to the ball if you can. Sit deep. Don't expel energy, and that's what they did. And they did that for United. They literally after Spurs scored the goal, they literally parked the bus for the remainder of the game, and we couldn't break them down. And Amorim couldn't adapt to that. So my worry with Amorim is that if this transfer window doesn't work and he doesn't able to utilize, because at the end of the day, again, we only signed Cunha. The team isn't radically different. We've let Eric. What's happened so far is we've let Eriksen go, we've let Lindelof go, we've let Johnny Evans go, and we've signed Cunha. That's it. And we've also told players like Sancho, Rashford, Anthony, to a certain extent Onana, but not so much. But certainly Rashford, Anthony, because he's not really directly been told, but Rashford, Anthony, and Sancho, and even Garnacho now said, you're not in our plans. Go and find another club effectively. Their wingers, gone. So all of our wingers, gone, or potential wingers, gone. And all those defenders and midfielders I told you, gone. And so we're left with a situation where we don't have any wingers. our attacking players right now are, if we assume the other players, the players are going to go, is just right now Cunha, Xerxes, Hoyland, and Ahmad. That's it. Bruno, I guess, could count as an attacking player, maybe, but really it's just that. And that's still not good enough. The midfield, I'd argue, is weaker without Eriksen, although Eriksen has lost his legs, but he's more creative the midfield that we have. So, you know, I'm worried. I am worried because if we, and the thing is as well, is that if we aren't going to be doing the deals before preseason and Amram needs these players to get his system in and stuff, then I don't know. Because at the end of the day, and we'll obviously see what the fixtures show, but I think something weird. I think from January, United only got 9 points. Like, there is no way that we can. People want to see something are going to expect this dude to win. Okay, and especially with no European football or anything like that at all, traditional games, you know, and to manage a squad, people expect him to win. And if he doesn't, and we're in a situation where after 10 games, we only have 10 points, we're going to be in a big trouble. We're going to be in big trouble. That's what I'll say. We're going to be in big trouble. Duran might be able on loan, might something to get out of us. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe Duran might be a shout. I think obviously he's in Saudi Arabia now. We might have to look at, to be honest, we might have to look at some of these Saudi guys. I mean, guys, you know, Duran, Tony. Do you go to Saudi and say, I mean, I would take him. If Ivan Tony, if I don't know if he is this Al Halil he's with, but if they're happy for a loan, I'd take Ivan Tony. I would take Ivan Tony from Saudi. A lot of strikers in Saudi right now that would go, yep, I take Tony, I take Duran. You know, I think Mitrovic is there. Like, I will take some of these guys that are at Saudi. I don't care because the options are limited for us. It's those guys on loan or Hoyland again. Yeah, because for Oshman deal, we can swap him with Garnacho. I mean, there is that. But Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League, though. Remember, Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League, so his demands are probably higher for those players. That is the key. Garnacho probably wants to stay in the Premier League. Let me just quickly. So first, let me look at the poll. Thanks everyone for watching. Remember, if you're new, remember like, share, and subscribe. We'll probably be rounding up in about 5 minutes or so. It's been a very good show. So thank you so much. Thanks everyone for so much. If you want to obviously support the channel, consider becoming a member as well. We are trying to do some more member-only content, live streams, videos, things, etc. Watch longs and so forth. So by all means, if you want to support the channel and consider becoming a member, giving a super chat, that type of thing. But if not, a like and subscribe is perfectly fine. It just helps the channel. Now, if I look at the votes now, okay, so what if United don't get Austrian? What striker should United get now? So 81% of you have said Osimhen, and that's predictable, understandably. 15% said Mateta, 44% said Etike, and obviously 0% for David. So yeah, we'll see. Liverpool can afford to get Etike and not suffer sad ideas with others. Exactly. We can't. Liverpool can actually blowing Chiesa and Nunes, and none of the media talk about how. Yeah, no, they don't, and they can't. But they can. The thing is, they can afford to it for a couple of reasons. One, they're successful, and two, because financially, it's not a big of a hit. United have made terrible financial decisions. You know, think of all the money that Liverpool come from winning the Premier League, being in the Champions League, the level and stuff like that, and obviously having a big fan base globally. Not a problem. We've taken a fanship because of no Champions League football this season, Europa League. no European football next season, high wages. It's a disaster. I'm just on to this. We don't care. I see Chelsea getting Gittins. Think it was a €5 million prospect. I think Spurs will really weirdly get. That's I have that feeling as well. I wonder if he goes to them though. I see Son going. Would Son go now? I think Son will still go to Champions League football. I think as well. Just want the 6 minutes to get it. Yeah, I'm not selling Garnacho for less than 60 mil. I don't care whether Amorim. That's what I will say. But I don't care if he beats with the guy. We can't sell him for a guy like that for less than 60 million. We have to get the value from him from our academy player. Angelo Jose does get, yeah, exactly, and it worked because we couldn't break them down. Justin could do it, so probably he'd be better for a year. Okay, Rich is all right, but physical box striker might be a little bit more physical in the box. I mean, actually, it's better than what we have, quite frankly, because Højlund. Let me be clear: the fans get 5 players. We don't have enough. We don't have enough time. Lucky, you're right. Drop the pride inside Nico Jackson. Well, even if we wanted to sign Nico Jackson, Chelsea have said that him and Delap are the priority strikers. So I think if we were to get him, we would Chelsea would demand quite a lot for the guy. So it is what it is. But yeah, just for those who are watching again, for those who've seen Ben Jacobson post, Viktor Gyökeres prefers him to the Premier League and would welcome an Arsenal bid. Arsenal was still deciding between Šeško and Gyökeres, and Dre Burton announcing both deals. Gyökeres would be open to Manchester United, but there's been no formal rejection. But a deal to date has also never been at an advanced stage, despite suggestions. Well, I mean, you kind of were. I know you didn't say it, but the hype, I think, was coming from Ben Jacobs and others, especially in Record Portugal. Let's be real. I think a lot of it was coming from these constant updates. Gyökeres closed, Gyökeres this, Gyökeres that, Gyökeres. So I got to the point I got tired of it because I was like, I'm reading this news from all these people, and at the end of the day, there's nothing legitimate here. Like, we're still waiting. So there you go. So at the end of the day, as I round up, what I would say is that let's wait and see when the transfer window opens again on Monday. I hope that at least we can get the Abuemo deal over the line. And then for me, we just focus on the outgoings. And if we can use the money to get Gyökeres, great. If not, then we need to pursue other striking options, because if this manager is going to succeed, it's clear to me that he's going to have to need his players at the beginning of his of the preseason to get his system underway. Like, that's it. That's the manager we've chosen. A manager who needs certain key players to fit in and work in a system. That's what we've chosen. And right now, I don't think just signing Kudne is going to fix that. But we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you're on YouTube, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio X. We're also on Twitch, Instagram as well. Have a nice day, guys. We may do some Club World Cup watch-alongs, because I'm going to be watching a Club World Cup, even with just feigned interest. It'll be interesting. But, let's see what happens. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Peace.